What's good, y'all? It's your boy Habit with Final Round. We got a couple big fights tonight, but let's start off with Benavidez versus Davis. Now, unfortunately, I've been pretty busy this week, lots of training. I haven't been able to sit down and watch as much film study on both fighters as I would like, but I did. Obviously, I'm more aware of Benavidez, who Benavidez is compared to Davis. But I did a little quick eye test on Davis. I think I got the MO on him pretty good. But the way I see this going, I'm gonna make this sweet and concise because the fights are about to go down. I got Benavidez by KO. I think it'll be somewhere around. I don't get specific. You know me on my predictions in terms of when I predict the fight to end in terms of a KO or a TKO. But I want to say in the second half of the fight. I think it'll be around round 6 to 12. Could happen a little bit earlier. Depends how Davis approaches the fight. I've seen Davis. It seems like he likes to put pressure, okay? He's not an effective aggressor, in my opinion, because Davis doesn't come in behind the jab. He doesn't really utilize good head movement to work his way in. Does have good counter-punching abilities, but when you're working your way inside, or even if you're moving backward and you're not utilizing head movement, you're not utilizing your jab, to me, I can't call you an effective pressure fighter. But like I said, Davis could come in this fight and knowing that Benavidez is a dog himself and Benavidez is a pressure fighter, he may say, you know what, I'm going to try to box a little bit more for this one. I'm not going to try to butt heads and be the bull. So it's going to be very fascinating to see if Davis decides, okay, I'm going to play the matador for this, or if he's going to decide to be the bull. And it's also interesting to see with Benavidez, how is he going to treat this fight? You know, if Davis decides to clamor forward, will Benavidez say, you know, I'm going to show everybody some of my boxing skills? Because I've seen Benavidez back up. Or is Benavidez going to go in there and say, no, I'm the bull, and we're going to see two guys clashing heads, and, you know, I assume a knockout would come from that. But I tend to favor Benavidez for this fight. I think he'll get the knockout somewhere around 6 to 12. I just think he's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster. And people underestimate Benavidez's hand speed. Benavidez has phenomenal hand speed, and he can let combinations go. It's a beautiful thing when he does. The only issue I have with Benavidez at this point, I would say, is head movement. Maybe a little bit better head movement. He does have some good subtle defense. It's not spectacular, but he's kind of a little bit more squared in his stance, so he kind of has a little bit more. You know, there's a little bit more off the bone your opponent can pick off of when you square up, depending on what you're doing stylistically. But I think Benavidez has subtle defense. It's a lot better than Kyrone Davis, and I think he's gonna eat Kyrone Davis up. And Kyrone Davis is a scrappy dude, man. He'll throw down with you. You know, and like I said, he likes to press forward, but he doesn't do it responsibly. He tends to get clipped a lot. He'll throw a combination, and Kyrone Davis does have some nice little tight hooks in the pocket, but I don't think he has many knockouts on his resume. He can get respect. He's a fairly good counterpuncher, but once again, a lot of times he'll get to the inside, he'll throw some nice hook combinations, and he'll sit there and take a picture and admire his work, and he'll be right there to get countered and hit. I think he's been clipped before, and he's been chin checked and hurt. So that's just a testament that he does not move his head enough. You know, if you're going to be a pressure fighter, you got to be an effective aggressor, and you have to utilize at least a little bit of defense, okay? Even if it's just blocking with your guard, keeping a high peekaboo guard and blocking. But when you watch Mike Tyson putting pressure on his opponents in his prime, you saw that head movement, you know, left to right, rolling under, you know, ducking, and, you know, utilizing that jab, you know, getting off his head off the center line and coming back with counters. And, you know, hopefully Kyrone Davis, if he wants to compete in this fight, he's worked on some of that head movement and utilize coming in behind his jab, because that's one thing I see in some of his fights is he doesn't utilize his jab. That's one of the most important punches in boxing, as we all know. But I think it's important that Benavidez go out and he makes a huge statement to the boxing world, mostly the fans, because if he goes out here and he puts on a brilliant performance, I think a lot of fans are going to start clamoring for that Canelo fight. Okay, it's going to build a lot of buzz and hype. And I think Canelo and his team are going to say, okay, this guy can bring something to the table, especially in terms of making money. And we all are interested in this matchup with Benavidez and Canelo because it seems like it would be a firefight. A lot of interesting stuff going on there, but that's for another day to talk about. But hopefully, I want to see Benavidez utilize that left hook to the body right there because this is also a fight he needs to be thinking, what would I want to use against Canelo? And this is the perfect opponent to do so, not because he resembles Canelo, but he's going to be pretty gung-ho. He's going to give you a lot of opportunities to kind of work what you want. He's going to be there to get hit. So it's a perfect opportunity for Benavidez to get a knockout and a perfect opportunity for Benavidez to kind of work on some things that he wants to bring into the fight with Canelo. But I see Benavidez winning by knockout or TKO anywhere from round 6 to 12. Could happen earlier. It really depends on how Kyrone wants to fight the fight. I've seen Kyrone Davis go off the back foot a little bit, so I would not be shocked if he goes in against Benavidez because he knows he's a bull. You know, he knows Benavidez is a dog himself, and he says, you know what, I'm going to try to, box a little bit this one. And it wouldn't shock me at all if Benavidez boxes off the back foot at times in this fight. I've seen Benavidez, change up his rhythm and tempo at times in certain fights. So, even though we kind of have an idea who's going to win this fight, I want to see how it goes down. I want to see how the victory goes down. And you got to think about this. Huge opportunity for Davis to pull off an upset. And who knows, maybe even throw his name in contention for Canelo Alvarez. Now, obviously, that's a long shot. He has no pull. He has no fan base. Nobody knows who he is. But, who knows? You get a win against Benavidez and you get the boxing community to see, that big upset. And Canelo's sitting there like, oh, this guy's got a lot of hype around him now. He just knocked out Benavidez. This is an easy W. Let me get my payday. I mean, it doesn't matter who faces Canelo. Canelo's going to bring the money, okay? He's going to bring the money. But huge opportunity for Davis. I'm not saying he would be in line next to face Canelo if he beat Benavidez, but I'm pretty much more trying to make the point that if it gives Davis a reason to come to this fight and fight hard. You know what I'm saying? It gives him there's lots of incentive for Davis to come out here and perform hard. Even if he never gets a fight with Canelo, just the idea that, who knows, maybe if I beat Benavidez, maybe I can get my name in the running, okay? And that's enough reason to go out there and try to get an upset for Davis. But I don't see that Davis has enough of a skill set to deal with Benavidez. I think Benavidez is a pretty damn good boxer. I think he's struggling to get down to that super middleweight division. That's going to be an issue for him moving forward. When you got to drain weight like that and you're struggling, man, Canelo's going to, that could be a huge advantage if he gets a fight with Canelo to drain him in terms of weight. If I were Benavidez and for some reason this fight with Canelo did not manifest, I'd move up to light heavyweight and I'll start clamoring for that fight with Canelo at light heavyweight. That way you're sitting comfortable and you're not killing yourself. But once again, we'll get more into Benavidez Canelo later. That's if he gets the job done. But I got Benavidez by TKO or a knockout anywhere from round 6 to 12. And I will be posting my prediction and quick little analysis of Munguia versus Rosado. So get at me, you guys. Let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think's gonna win? And if Benavidez has a great performance, do you think he is next in line to face the pound-for-pound king in the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez?